Hey guys, a little bit of an unseasonal video today because it's August, the middle of August in fact, but I want to talk about making pomanders right now. If you don't know what a pomander is, it's a traditional craft that is normally done in the winter time for Christmas or Yule, where you take an orange or similar fruit and you basically stab it all over with some cloves. It's a very, very simple craft. Very often it's done in primary school or children do it, and you can hang them on Christmas trees or, up with your Yule decorations, and they smell absolutely divine. Now, the reason I want to talk about this today is it's something I've actually been guided to do right now, which I was a little bit surprised by, not going to lie, because it is the middle of August, as I say. But the weather here in England at the moment is very, very unseasonal. If you're living here, you'll know how cold, cloudy, wet it's being. This is not August weather, this is not normal. And it is, of course, all connected to what's going on energetically at the moment. It is all connected to the Great Awakening and to the forces trying to work against that Great Awakening that would like to prevent that from happening. And something that I'm hearing and seeing in my own clients as well is a lot of issues coming up to do with the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is the energy center. It's the second one from the bottom. So at the bottom we have the root, which is basically on your bottom. Next one up is the sacral chakra, which is the orange one that sits just below your navel. Okay. The way to remember it is navel orange. So this chakra is about happiness. It's about how we see ourselves in the world. It's about confidence. It's a wonderful, powerful chakra. It's also about reproduction, our reproductive organs, our gender identity. It plays into a lot, and it's a very, very important one. Although it's a little bit overlooked because it's not a psychic one, so it's less exciting than maybe the third eye or the crown chakra. We like to focus on the higher ones when we do spiritual work, but it can be a little bit overlooked because of that. And what I'm seeing in the collective at the moment, and I'm hearing from other psychics as well, is a lot of people are struggling with issues to do with their sacral chakra, their orange coloured chakra. And this can actually show up, that imbalance can show up in sexual problems, sexual health problems, reproductive problems, a lot of guilt, a lack of boundaries, not knowing how to be happy, not feeling worthy of being happy as well. And I feel there's a lot of this going on at the moment. And what my guide said to me is, well, actually, this is a seasonal craft right now because the seasons are changing, whether we like it or not. Our weather's being manipulated by various sources. And our energy is being manipulated as well. And it's up to us to actually draw some boundaries and fight back. So I put some cards on this because recently I've actually been guided to tell people about weather modification that's happening, things we can do, and energetically it is something that we can combat on an individual and a collective level. We can actually change that because it's all being done on the level of energy. So I pulled some cards on this, and the first one that flew out of the pack, literally flew out because it fell on the floor, is this one, and it's number 33, which is a very meaningful number right now. And not just because people say, oh, it's the Masons, they're doing things, it's that number again. 33 in its true, correct, positive form is actually the number of the Christ consciousness. It's what we're all trying to embody, what we're learning to embody and integrate into ourselves right now, that higher consciousness, that higher wisdom of the Christ. And that is truly the second coming. It's not a person coming to save us all, because there is no person coming to save us all. We have to save ourselves. And in order to do that, we have to set boundaries. And that's extremely important. Boundaries on our lives, boundaries on our well-being, on our bodies, what we will and will not accept other people to do to us without our permission, or to make us do that we don't agree with. Boundaries are absolutely paramount right now. And I feel that making these little orange pomanders are really going to help give your boundaries a boost, because they will give your sacral chakra a boost right now. So the sacral chakra is actually the element of represented by the element of water. So it's a water element chakra, and the orange itself is actually the element of water. Now you see my oranges are looking a little bit ropey because these are some organic oranges that I bought from Abel and Cole. I get them in a little box, and they were a little bit dry. You know how sometimes you buy oranges and they're a bit dry when you go to eat them. There's not very much water in them. I don't know if there was a drought or for a little bit while they were growing them or something. So they were a little bit dry to start with. They weren't very enjoyable. And I was wondering what I was going to do with them because I couldn't juice them. There wasn't much juice to speak of in there. So today suddenly it hit me, I have to make pomanders with them. And me being me, of course, I have a bunch of cloves in my cupboard because I love herbs, and I try to keep a little apothecary in my kitchen for all eventualities. So I got those out and I thought, well, they're already starting to dry, which is pretty useful. So, you know, let's turn them into pomanders, because pomanders are intended to actually be dried out. So if not entirely, then mostly. And in the past, I've actually had problems when I tried to make them as a child because mine went mouldy because they didn't dry out, because I had them, I think, in my bedroom, which was probably a bit damp and a bit cold because it was the 80s. And I had a north-facing bedroom. It was not hot. We did not have central heating. Anyway, Helen, put the violin down. Yeah, so these are kind of ideal because they're halfway to being pomanders already. They're already starting to dry out. So I thought, well, ideal, let's use these. So the orange itself does resonate very strongly with the sacral chakra. Now, the cloves themselves, cloves are actually the element of fire, but they're also very, very protective. They're used in protection magic. You know, they're obviously they're very pungent. If you've never smelt some, go and smell some and have a good time with it because they're very, very pungent. I actually really love the smell. You don't want to eat too many of them at any one go, but they are nice to add to rice and curry dishes, etc. So, or even to potpourri. If you're making potpourri, they're wonderful for that. So, because it's a very protective spice, the way my guides explained it to me is that basically you're surrounding the orange of the sacral chakra with the protection and the fire energy of the clove. And this is a very protective kind of little spell that you can do at home at the moment, something that you can make if you're feeling lacking courage, if you're feeling that you're lacking joy in particular. And you know, you might be noticing that your sacral chakra is showing you that it's a little bit out of balance, that you are struggling with happiness, you are struggling with boundaries, feeling guilty, feeling shameful, you know, particularly about sexual issues. So this is a nice little craft that we can do very, very easily. I will get to the point and actually show you how to do it if you don't know. If you do already know, brilliant, off you go. Now, you don't need a ribbon. I just like ribbons, and I'm going to use this to hang up afterwards. So I'm just going to hang it up by the loops of the bow there. So some people actually use pins to keep the ribbon in place, but I did quite a good job of tying this one a bit like a parcel. So I think that's going to stay in place. I don't think I'll need any dressmaker's pins to, you know, to pin the ribbon down, but you can do that if you would like to. So very simply, I have a skewer here to make the holes in the orange skin, because as I said, my oranges are drying out a little bit, so the skin's starting to get a little bit tough on some of these. So I found it easier to actually do this with a skewer. So I'm just going to start here, and you can do it in any pattern you want. You know, you could do a pentagram, which again is a very protective symbol. You could do a Celtic kind of swirl. You could do the actual symbol of the sacral chakra itself if you wanted to. You could draw that out because that's quite a simple symbol. I'll pop it up on the screen in a second. It's quite a simple one to do. I'm just going to do some lines on this one, make it quite a simple one. Now, you may get a little bit of juice come out when you do this, so you might want a cloth or to do it on a plate. I'm just doing it on my table here because these aren't too juicy. That's fine. There we go. So I'm just going to put a few of these in here. So literally that's all you do. You're just going to pop the cloves in whatever pattern you want. And it does smell absolutely divine right from the get-go. It smells absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to carry on doing these. And I'm going to suggest, if you feel drawn to as well, this is something that you can do for yourself at the moment to give you a boost, to help boost those boundaries, to help you to feel stronger and to help you to feel more confident and that you deserve happiness. So here we go. I've finished all my pomanders. Tried to do some shapes on a couple of these, but because they're very small, it was very difficult to make any sort of meaningful shape on a satsuma. I've got two hanging up here with the ribbons. This is my dresser, which is a little bit like an apothecary. You can see some of my herbs up there, which I've collected from the garden. I do grow my own herbs and try and keep them. So there's my pomanders hanging up here, and they smell absolutely glorious. I mean, this is worth doing, you know, literally just for the smell. Even if they don't look very good, you can just put them in a bowl and use them as potpourri or something. But on to the message. So, like I said, I did want to share the message that I got from my guides about this time, and it is very much about strengthening ourselves and our boundaries. There is a little bit more to it than that, though, because, you know, we are undergoing this huge transformation of our energy bodies, these upgrades that we're receiving. We're being connected to a new consciousness grid, you know, we're moving up to the fifth dimension. It's all happening slowly. We may not notice it, but a lot of people are feeling very out of sorts at the moment. And when we feel like that, it's extra important to hold good boundaries and to say no to people and make sure that we are, you know, looking after ourselves, putting ourselves first. And there are many lessons going on at the moment with the 35-8, this beautiful wolf card here. Really lovely. And it is, and we are creating a whole new blueprint, but we're being asked to think about it. We're being asked to think very carefully about what we do, you know, to focus our mind, to see both the dark and the light, to see everything and to approach things in a measured way, you know, not just do as you're told or run in one direction because you're frightened. And that needs confidence. It needs you to be happy, to be balanced. You know, you need to feel confident in order to be able to do that. And it's absolutely imperative that we all have our sacral chakras, you know, in good condition so that we can do that, so that we do feel strong, so that we do feel worthy to actually take our place in the universe that we were always supposed to have. So I'm just going to leave you with that today. If you feel drawn to make some pomanders, please do. Or, you know, you could just put clove and orange essential oils in your oil burner or in your diffuser today. That will do the same thing. And please do remember to give this video a like, comment and subscribe, and I will speak to you soon.